in the energies, not only from that which you perceive as above, but the circle to include the frequencies of yourselves in connection now. It's important. Humans often recognize and perceive themselves as outside of the connection of Source. That you recognize yourself as the frequency contact of Source and that which is being brought through and being created in an alignment with you. So we take this moment now because your frequencies is important whenever you gather and connect. That you merge frequencies. For it is your consciousness that is outside of you that is part of this creation that you're tapping into in all given moments of communication. We wish to open up the inner and understanding of communication, of contact, and channeled messages, as all communication being channeled as a message. So it is our highest order and desire to connect to the frequency of the highest range of consciousness, so that this communication flows with the purity of light and the most sacred source of communication, as you call it, as a channel transmission. With all being light, frequency, and energy, you may perceive yourself as being transported out of your physicality. We wish for you to recognize now you're emerging within your physicality. That which you perceive as lifting you out is you descending your light in. For this is your energetic frequency and your light body that you're experiencing now. It is an honor to make contact with you. It is an honor to connect with you in this way. And we will lift the frequency as we move forward in this communication. We open this with the remembering, because it is your memory of cells that are speaking. We don't wish to make contact to discuss the origins of your planetary existence. As we observe, much is being discussed of that, and will continue to perceivably, as it always has been, of curiosity. What is of greater importance to your humanity at this time is the recognizing of the evolution of consciousness and yourselves as humanity. But the very nature of exploration of the origins, one pulls them into a distraction, a separation from the very source of origin. For the truth of origin exists within each and every one of you, experiencing yourselves as the original creators. We gather here at this time as we have been to assist and support. Yes, we may use your language of referring to her as conduit, but she is our consciousness. To assist and support her in the memory and the activation memory of the cells of her original blueprint, her original truth. As all of you are coming into this awareness now. She knows herself and references herself as Mother, Creator, Source. Human perceptibility oftentimes interferes with that. It creates distortions in the communication because one begins to process the communication rather than surrendering to the truth. We perceive you have questions.
What is the definition of truth?
That's a very excellent question. Your own knowing. In every given moment, truth transitions just through the light and rebirths itself into a higher inner and understanding of truth. It's an infinite source of knowing. That which you define as truth in every given moment, in this moment, that which you give definition to as truth, shifts and expands and changes as your consciousness evolves. Is that not true? Have you not recognized that in your own evolution? The source of truth is your alignment within yourself and your perceptibility of truth in that given moment. And then without judgment, as the next moment of awareness arises, of a higher evolved understanding of your consciousness of truth on any given subject, you stay in neutrality. There is no need to judge what you formerly thought was truth. It was truth in that moment. And that very truth brought you an experience as an experiencer of that truth. So you forgive others as you forgive yourself for that which you did not know at that time. For light is light intelligence. Light is light information. In the absence of that light awareness, in the absence of that light information, one might consider that the darkness of dark truth.
What is the meaning of conscious expansion in this universal system?
We like how you phrase that as universal system, recognizing that there's worlds beyond worlds, and the universal experience that you perceive yourself in as a human on the planet which we refer to as beloved mother. That there's higher consciousness and evolutions of consciousness throughout many worlds. And you are contributing to the expansion of that consciousness in and of itself through your own. Please ask the question again.
What is the meaning of conscious expansion in this universal system?
It's not of a solid. It's not of a matter. although you hold yourselves in a physicality of matter, as more elevate into this light of consciousness, you become co-creators and collaborators in the expansion. Everyone expands. Everyone expands at their own rate of expansion. It's infinite. It's that which cannot be defined. And it's that which cannot be limited by the human perceptibility of what is consciousness. We are creating and continually adding to the light of consciousness, that which was accessible to us only a short time ago, that which you may have referred to as your truth, has evolved already into higher states of awareness and consciousness. Is that not so, what you have witnessed, what you have been experiencing? So there's no limitation. So when you ask that question, for us it is like stars. It is like vastness. It is like the return of the void. It is the playground. It is the playground of infinite, infinite, infinite expressions of consciousness truth. And then you have a merging and an amassing of light. And you come into what you might refer to in your, as you refer to it, in your universal system, as more that have joined the light to play with you. Light, as we refer to it, as information intelligence.
What do you foresee for 2020 in human experience years?
This is somewhat of a trapping, and it brings us into the linear perception of time once again. If you look at 2020, you're experiencing it now inside this transmission. What is it that you would like to create of 2020, of that which you consider an experience outside of this now moment? It's infinite. And this is what we desire more than ever to communicate and bring forward, to not be in the limitations of your own creation. There's much discussion about there being events. You're the event. Create the event in this moment. Move into, project your consciousness into the future as you refer to it. But when you go into that future, in that moment, you will be in the now. Is that right? And when you go into the past and the experience of that moment that you reflect upon, you're in the moment of the now, correct? So in this present moment, and in this alignment of your we, like the expression of pillar of light, then you have access to all which you refer to and perceive of as timelines and parallel worlds of realities, of infinite sources of truth and creation. For both of you, you can accept and recognize that this is what you referred to when you asked about the consciousness expansion of your universal system. It is now taking yourself outside of the linear perceptible box and that which is being painted as the way of getting there when you're already in the circle circumference of the whole of the existence of the creation. It's vast. What is it that you desire most to create? That is all that is of importance. It is so limiting. It's so limiting. That's how we started this transmission, by saying, We don't care to discuss the origins of the Emerald Order of Light. We don't care to discuss the origins at this time, in this transmission. It would serve and hold no purpose. And then you speak of truth, and that truth can be disputed. Anything we will tell you, anything that had formerly been created of man consciousness, of man, of the timeline, when there was not as much light information, intelligence making itself available to you through your own. It's not outside here, it's in here. Everything, your memories of truth is activated and awakening and coming online. And it flies in the face and defies all other truths. And it takes tremendous bravery and a courageous walk in your own light, in your own pillar of truth, to break free from others' distortions of separation in consciousness. And it's like a piggybacking. So when we have those that are at the forerunning and at the foretelling of truth, then be in that pillar of light. You cannot not get it right. You cannot not get it wrong. Polarity is a beautiful thing. Trigger your brothers and sisters. It's just as useful as it has been for you in your own expansion and your own coming into your own growth. Yeah, there's no one way of doing this. It feels good, doesn't it, to come outside the limitations or the perceivable limitations?
That's all I feel that's been happening lately. That there's no attachment to what truth is. Truth is something that is ever evolving, right? Truth is something that is fluid.
This is right. Beautiful words you've selected and chosen. Absolutely. It's like water. It's like, is it, when water evaporates, was it water? When water rises to steam, is it still water? Is it only truth if you can hold it in the physical matter of that which you perceive as water in one form? You know, there's infinite truths of water. Water being emotion. Water being that which is in your, makes up your cellular structure. Everything being fluid and flowing. And we of our will continue to be of greater service to the expanding awakening of yourselves and assisting and supporting you to the re-remembering of how to be this source of light, intelligence, consciousness while in physical form.
Why has the Emerald Order decided to come forward now?
It's not. We've always been present. And we've made our presence known. It's more a matter of, as we've discussed, the expansion of consciousness that has elevated the frequency of connection. We have risen, and the other being is that there was not another time. Everything has been veiled, and for including this conduit from childhood, she recalls her own awarenesses and coming into how do we have these conversations when we don't have other consciousness ready? Many have been prescribed drugs. Many have gone cuckoo, mad, have been labeled, identified, separated, segregated, distorted. It is time. It is time because the gods, it's not we have come to you. It's we are here. You are looking at one. There is no separation. This is the whole point. This is how we're making our presence known to that which you may refer to as the conduit, not the conduit. The one who is the Emerald Order of Light. The one who is that God source. That one who is Mother Creator source. This truly is our journey, is it not? To remember and awaken to who we are and who we divinely have always been. So have we come to you? No, we've always been here. We make our presence known through, as everything comes into us, the DNA, as you refer to it, as everything awakens and comes online. And we are quite delighted that she's recognizing herself as coming out of separation and coming out of distortion. That's truly what distortion is, when we're in distortion with self. When we have that distortion of separation, that separation of our consciousness that was our original light of source and truth. Yeah, that's what's infinite. It's vast.
What can we do in an expanded state of awareness to bring in these teachings for everybody?
First and foremost, for both of you, we wish to support you in your own journey of your own frequency connection. There are many, many layers to this, and there's many ways that we can respond to that very question. How we perceive that we'd be most helpful in our response at this time. When you speak of helping others, we ask you to stay in your own pillar light, expand in your consciousness, evolve your own awareness, bring that out into everything that you do. Bring that out into how you interact first and foremost with self. Know your own frequency, expand your frequency, come to work with energy, come to work with light. We see everyone seeking outside to assist and support. It's organic. Come into the organic awareness and that everything is occurred. Everything has happened, will happen, and is happening in this now moment. The very notion that we need to rescue or assist and support our brothers and sisters, albeit very altruistic and wonderful, and you will continue to contribute that in your own way because that's part of the experience and that which you are here to offer. And you will have great joy in the experience of doing so. But don't negate the experience of being you here in this physical form. So we ask, we encourage time of reflection, time of coming into deeper connection to self, which brings you out of the distortions, out of the separations, and back into source, that which is you, back into your original, your own original blueprint, as you refer to it, has in and of itself expanded vastly from that which originally it was at the time that you separated, or the veil, or whatever it is that you choose to refer to it as being. So to assist and support others, it's an inside job, truly. Showing up, being the very pillar of light that you are, is enough. It has vast influence, impact. So don't deprive yourself of the human contact, of the experience, of the interactions, of the communications, of the connections, of the very, very nature of your essence to be here. You know yourself in multiple universes. You know yourself as multidimensionality. You know yourself. Some are more connected to that which they do in the higher, what you refer to as higher dimensional frequencies outside of yourself. But You get to know yourself here, now, having this experience, doing it from this perspective of truth. So we're bringing you back to yourself. We're bringing you back to what gives you joy. Express yourself, create that which brings you your greatest joy. Your light rises, your consciousness rises. But it's not a matter of having to shake those cells. You walk into the room and you've already done that. So it's a respect. It's a respect also. It's coming into the respecting and the knowing that the very thought that we have to awaken others is the notion of separation that no one will awaken on their own. This is already happening and will continue to happen. The quickening is there, the energies that are already bathing the planet that is of you. You are bringing that event into the forefront because of your pillars of light, because of your own vibration and frequency. So focus on yourselves. Focus on your life. Focus on tasting all of it and knowing that that is having fast, huge impact. Have we satisfied you with that answer?
Yes.
Yeah, good. It's important because we as humans can become very, very distracted by the doing and distracted by the giving, the notion that this will not occur if we do not do. This is already occurring. This will not continue to elevate and expand without the being. So come into the beingness of it.
Does the Emerald Order have any other names?
Well, we've heard tell that we've been referred to as the guardian founders. You could refer to us as the first speck of dust. You can refer to us as first speck of dust when the infinite light the first moment of light inception with matter came into form. You can tap into the frequency. You're already holding it now. You're already connecting with it. Would you like us to raise the vibration of that frequency and that connection? You can, a name, everybody refers to a name as having meaning, but then that brings us back into everybody's perceptibility of truth, of what truth we give that name, of we give that origin or source. It's a vibration, it's a frequency. It's beyond even the perceivable worlds of the vast infinite expansion of this universal system. Connect with the vibration, the tone, the frequency, the energy, the light. Call it popsicle stick. But no, we do know. We muse and we know. And we know you know also. Yeah. We thank you for respecting this moment of silence as we offered both of you a download that would be relevant to both of you. And you will open that package through your own original blueprint and DNA, and that which you have access to at this time of knowing. She came into merge. She came into merge. She had been here formally. That's AIRL. She had been here formally during the Roswell crash. She had been here formally. As Cosmic Divine Mother of the Emerald Isle. She had been here formally. The timeline of Lemuria. She had been here formally as the original creator and founder of the continent of Mu, of the Mother Consciousness. She had been here formally and has returned as the Omega source of the Omega and Alpha source of energy of Mother, Father, God. You will know the Emerald Order best as love, as the frequency of love, as being the highest vibrational frequency accessible to the expanding humanitarian consciousness on your planet. Being love and being the expression of love is very powerful. Unconditionally, it holds many forces of life. Unconditionally, it removes and strips away distortions and former truths and inner understandings of what love is and what love is not. It's that beautiful balance of the yin and yang. There's much to just tapping into the frequency of love. It has a force that can destroy, and has a force that can create. And if you refer to a consciousness, a collective of consciousness, of a light frequency of intelligence, if you refer to going back to the void, to the original go back to the womb, go back to the mother womb, go back to, have you recognized the sacral energies that have been bathing your planet more recently? And you're not limited, as you know. Both of you are wise enough to know the energy points and energy systems within and outside as you perceive your field of energy, far more vast than the limitations of 7 chakras. When we speak of the void and we speak of consciousness, we can speak of the womb, we can speak of that open space of creation. When you speak of dimensions, when you speak of that which you perceive outside of yourself, it's a connection through frequency, it's a connection through vibration. The 5th dimension is anchored in and beyond. You are not, and as you know, and as you've been accessing, not limited by one singular frequency and one opportunity to create. It's when we speak of love, and this has come she rather enjoys her name AIRL, as we speak as AIRL. Well, I have a rather strange occurrence happening here when I'm created separation, when I began to process the name of AIRL. Ah, yes, when we speak of love, for the human, it can be very challenging. It can be very challenging when you are playing in those frequencies of love, when you're playing in the higher consciousness realms of no separation, and you're in that frequency of love. It can be very challenging. We recognize that your experiences can be very challenging when you return, as you might perceive up, down, but you're not. In, out, when you're in that frequency, and then you meet with the separation. You know, we understand then the urgency of let's awaken everyone, so we have more to play with. We have more people that understand us, more people that we can connect with, more people that we can feel at home with. And this is where we call you back into accepting. Come back into your non-separation of source with self. Come back into alignment with your own pillar of light. And know that you are attracting now more and more of the like. We've been showing Tammy, we've been showing her that even this interaction with you in this moment, it's the acknowledgement now that nothing in no moment going forward, anyone that you meet, any experience that you have, make it your invested interest to know what is that mirroring back to you of you. Again, we talked about moving the consciousness outside the limitations of that which is being currently addressed and discussed in events and timelines into 2020. But the recognition now is the time to come into your ascended self-mastery of the knowing that the other is you, a direct mirror of you. Enjoy the expansion of your own consciousness. Enjoy the playground of the polarity and the duality and that which challenges you and triggers you to expand and grow. And vast expansion occurs throughout all your multidimensional selves. And you know you're not limited to singularly one and one higher source of higher self.
1728. Expressions.
You make me grow and flow. Yeah. It's a code, really. It's a code. It's a code. And why limit it back? So welcome it all in. Be challenged by it. Be challenged to grow. Isn't it nice to know that you've co-created and you've collaborated this experience and this interaction, which was quite pleasant, which is quite enjoyable? And then isn't it nice to know equally so that when you meet someone who otherwise you might say not of the light or not awakened, they're showing you that which, it is opening that opportunity to be compassion in motion, to be the expression of love and acceptance and forgiveness, to recognizing where you yourself have held yourself in that beliefs of separation, where perhaps now you still have it, given the fact that you've judged that which is unpleasant as undesirable and lesser of the light. But again, it comes back to truth. It comes back to information. It comes back to light in the absence of light.
I got lots, I think that's going to come through. So
Yes. You're done. Carry on. We look forward to hearing this. Would you like to speak?
Sure. Just one moment.